but I feel like the Earth Spirit doesn't help out Delul's lane, and that's the one player that's the one player I kind of want to see them enable because he's looked rocky sometimes.
Yeah, no Pango, no Chaos Knight. I mean, he can
10
play the Death
seconds
Prophet.
remaining.
It's not hard to play Death Prophet, like you're very much
5 seconds
self-sustainable.
remaining.
So we'll see what avenue they look to go down. I want them to go further into the push. I feel like you don't really want to let. I don't know if UDV will even pick up the tiny, right? Like you just make it a core Death Prophet and able to survive the tiny
Dire
burst, and then you
team
feel
pick.
pretty satisfied.
Admiral
Conquer
Conquer.
instead. So Mumang Dai is saying like, look, if this is going to be the last one, we'll get a Limmer Spirit. We'll get me playing my signature Conquer decent against the Storm Spirit. So I want to make sure I see some small camp blockage, especially because you'll have the smoke, you'll have a Keeper of the Light, already very fast and able to get out there super early. Uh,
This is the exact same first three picks they had in their winning match versus Kobolds. Was the Death Prophet, Conquer, Earth Spirit, and then the last two was the Tiny and the Delul Razor.
okay. Mm. But that was against Kobolds, and they're knocked out. So we'll, uh, we'll see. And I
Dire
don't.
team pick.
I mean, I guess you still kind of want to pick the tiny. There they go, the Sand King. Kind of where I was expecting them to do it previously.
Grim?
Uh, yeah. Mm. To me, it feels like Grim
10
could be.
seconds remaining.
You would need to be the one initiating all the fights, right? Because
5
these are
seconds
multiple
remaining.
heroes that love to buy the BKB. Even a Death Prophet 5, we've seen when Q was playing it for Talon. He just got like a first item BKB and ran at people. Kunkka gets it really
Radiant
early
team
because he wants to
pick.
be making the tempo. Even an Earth Spirit.
Grimstroke.
It's still a good Grim game, but it feels like if they've got BKBs, you just have to be hiding the entire time and not able to make any kind of engagements happen.
But I think you can get a lot of pickoffs before the BKBs.
10
Sanking,
seconds
if you
remaining.
stack for him, which Coddle should be able to, even Grim can, he's going to get a pretty good blink
5
timing.
seconds
Storm
remaining.
Spirit can get active very early on, so there's already two
Dire
heroes that
team
are
ban.
really solid. Inkswell,
Yeah.
carriers, and
So we just got
this,
the Razor left, right?
yep, just got the Razor left. There is no need to ban it unless you are looking for. Honestly, you might though, because a lot of the carriers physical damage
10
dealer that
seconds
can
remaining.
be.
Yeah, I'd ban Razor and
5
TB
seconds
here if I'm
remaining.
Patriots. It's the advantage of that second pick, right? Get the better
Wait, pay.
ending to the second
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry.
Patriots. They get the final pick of the second and third phases. So something like the Tiny isn't going to be punished by the TB.
What then
Radiant
would
team
be
ban.
available for UDV?
Dire
They
team ban.
have Life Stealer.
That's fine too.
I don't think you can Ursa because I think if you Ursa, they run Death Prophet Earth Spirit. I think a DP range is very good versus the Ursa in the laning phase. So I feel like that's something that
10
UDV can't really
seconds
play into,
remaining.
but it is a carry that I have seen people put emphasis on against the Tiny.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, I guess now TB, all the Razor's not going to be banned out, so one of them is probably
Correct.
let through. So I feel like they are definitely the top two heroes that UDV are thinking about now.
Even
Radiant
the monkey
team
isn't
ban.
horrible.
Yeah, no
Like,
one's picking that hero, and when I see like an okay monkey game, people are still looking past it. So
hmm.
kind of interesting. And no one's picking monkey support as well. Like what's going on? This support was crazy strong. We saw it at Gamers
10
Galaxy. We saw
seconds
Division
remaining.
1 teams picking it up. We saw Talon was playing it a lot. I don't
5
think we've
seconds
seen it at
remaining.
all in Eastern Europe, so that's a
Dire
region that's
team
not
pick.
prioritizing it. It's just really surprising to me because I'm a gigantic fan of Monkey King 4.
All right. Give me the Razor, UDV. I think it's pretty solid. Again, if you want to be the ones on the aggressive front,
10
doesn't
seconds
need too many
remaining.
items to be able to get active. And you really want to be playing around that 25-minute
5 seconds
timing with
remaining.
a Falcon Blade BKB and start to make your way towards the refresher. You might need to go a little bit more stats heavy if that's the hero that you go for. Maybe into an Ags before a refresher. But I still feel like it's got some solid laning potential,
Radiant team pick.
especially if you pair it with a
Templar
Grimstroke.
Assassin.
TA's fine as well, but like, I mean, all 4 of these heroes have lots of little instances of damage. You got Avalanche, you got the Torrent, you've got the Magnetize, you've got the Spirit Siphon, and Exorcism's spirits. So I don't know. I feel like
I don't
TA
like
can
it.
get
10
run over in this
seconds
game.
remaining.
No, I don't like it. I think there's plenty of answers they can go for.
5
Viper,
seconds
Bat's
remaining.
available. You can put the DP.
Zero.
Yep, you can put the DP3 and go to Kira, like you said. And also, Death Prophet was a big answer to TA Gamers Galaxy. You've got the ways to take towers early. You've got the damage over time. I'm not a fan of the pick, but they are very comfortable on it for UDV. They were often going like Dusa, Templar Assassin first phase for Ken.
You could even Venomancer this game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, where is the tower push outside of TA? So you just set up a bunch of Plague Wards in front of your tower. What's a TA going to do? Someone's going to be out of position at one point, and that's just going to enable the... This is the exact same draft.
I'm so
Oh.
surprised we didn't even bring it up, because honestly, Raze is very good versus Templar Assassin as well. So,
Yeah.
um,
All right, well, it worked for them last time, and I think it's going to work for him this time.
yeah, I really don't like the TA. They couldn't protect it. There was just, we were listing off multiple heroes that we felt like would have been fine versus Templar Assassin. So, I'm not a crazy fan of the draft for UDV. I think they are really, really, really reliant on an early blink on Rapido and JG to get a lot of kills off the back of the Inkswell and Teehee. I think if they do not do that, then Patriots should be able to send this to a game 3.
My thing for this as well is you mentioned that they've got the heroes to be able to stack for them, right? The Grim and the Keeper are both going to be able to do that. But you've got 3 cores that all want to take the same stacks and all want to be hitting the same sort of early timings. So call it greed if you want, but I feel like if you're going to get this super early Blink Dagger on Rapido, it means that he's going to need to be the one taking the early stacks. You just go like Power Treads 3 nulls on JG plus the bottle plus a wand or something, and then he'll look to try and get active. But let's say you get kills, right? Then what? Do any of these heroes take towers? No. Ken's going to still need to be back farming because he's not going to be the one taking those stacks. So I just feel like the draft doesn't fully mesh together too well. Whereas Patriots, I mean, you've got the Kunkka and the Tiny that both want to take stacks, which is fine. But they don't really mind splitting it up all that much, just because Kunkka's able to do it from a very early stage just by using his Tidebringer. Don't need to use mana for it. Don't need to really leave the lane too much. So I'm going to say Patriots have, I'd say, the far better draft this game.
Yep.
And I don't think their execution was that bad in game number 1. So I'm going to say Patriots for this one.
Alright. Well, we'll see how they can shape themselves up. Like we said, this is a identical draft to what they pulled out versus Kobolds. So they are very confident with these 5 set of heroes and how they can play together. And again, we get a
Quickly put my points bet on, by the way.
Oh, how many did you put?
60k.
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't know.
Right. It's a drop in the ocean for me. I am a points billionaire.
That'd be a bit concerning for Mumong Dai gives up first blood, which
Not again.
should be okay.
They're gonna... Alright, look, they're picking it out again. They're
30
saying, hey,
seconds to battle.
make sure we get rid of this one. They might even deward their own observer at this stage, to be honest. Do they, I suppose, outside of the Torrent and the Earth Spirit rolling, they don't have anyone that's going to be able to give vision on that high ground. So it might be okay.
Should know this ward was placed by the top outpost. He
Yep.
was underneath the Radiant Observer. But to learn them, they're going to still push him
The
away.
battle
I'm very
begins.
worried about how UDV can play this safe lane. I think Earth Spirit and Razor is going to be really tricky for a Grimstroke Templar Assassin.
Mm-hmm. Pretty passive, that's for sure. I mean, I don't know. It really depends if they step out, because just 1 point in meld is so much, man. Why does the armor reduction last for 12 seconds? It's so stupid.
It's a fun hero, man. I mean, why not just have a broken Templar Assassin? He needs some loving.
I feel like if it was 6, 8, 10, 12, that wouldn't be broken.
Well, TA thinks otherwise. UK is continuing to be chased down from Loserfy. Couple of combos out with the Burrow and Illuminate brings UK down to a bit of an awkward health pool. Oh no, not the range creep. Oh, okay, got it.
And because of moving up into the lane, Ken hasn't been able to get the last 3 last hits because he's had about half of his damage. So Fiddle is just going to continuously look to try and zone him out along with Lim. Having to be careful there. I mean, he just wants to be getting like a boulder smash off, pushing him back into the Razor as much as possible. Might look to wait until he's level 2, just so that you get the stun combination plus the plasma field. Still hasn't put a single skill point in on the TA.
Out for fallen rocks. Denied.
I'm trying to see how they can make this top lane any better. As there we go. Slow is out. Little taking all the damage he would need, and Ken is not really going to be able to play this next wave too easily. So maybe T, he's licking his lips. He's like, all right, I'll just stroke a fate the crit wave, get some last hits for myself.
He needs to. I mean, the big thing is he just needs to be able to have that ability to withstand a lot of the pressure, right? You're going to be able to, you're going to have so much lower attack damage. You need the refraction to at least prevent a little bit of it coming back your way.
How's the other lanes looking at least for UDV? Bit on JG. Pretty easy at the moment. I don't think it's going to get too crazy. Conquer versus the Storm matchup, but probably looking for the level 6s.
Your admiral is on board.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean,
The Repeater might be killed off bottom, actually. Got the Crypt Swarm and UK, even with only 1 level in it. That is enough nuke after the right click to get our first blood.
Nicely done. I mean, if this late goes decently enough, Ken's gonna die. Oh, probably. Maybe not. Might be able to get away. He's only got level 1 refraction.
Yo! Okay.
Nah. But still, he's not getting much. He is... Can you have a quick look over at the net worth, please?
Yeah, no, it's lower than the Earth Spirit.
Keep looking down.
Yeah.
Keep looking down that list. He's not great.
Like, where is he? I don't see him. Is he off the list? No, he's just chilling towards the bottom. Yeah, this is why you... That was not a good pick. So, can you... Honestly, you got to go back to the jungle, I think, my man.
At that stage, but I mean, he's got the 1 point in the side plates. See if He's able to start building up a few things for him.
Bottom lane, Chikro might get another kill, but Rapido's Burrow is able to hold them back, and even this lane is not going well for UDV. Rapido's got 7 last hits, and of course giving up first blood, so this is maybe your point prediction is sitting pretty comfortable mid lane. JG, oh, okay, nicely done. Might tick out to the Uv, but he's got some tangos still rocking for JG, so there we go, first kill for the lads on UDV.
They need to have that rotation coming through there. I was honestly expecting Lim being the one to make the initial rotation onto the Storm as he whiffs.
Oh no.
On his day, and oh, he's kind of stuck in here a little bit. I don't think he'll have the mana to be able to actually chase this down, though, as a second kill on Repeater. But they get the turnaround onto the Tiny. So not the worst, but not really the hero that you want it to go on to. Coddle with net worth doesn't really change too much.
Radiant's bottom
Now, what do you mean?
tower
Lucifer is going to
under
play as the position 2 Coddle this game. He's going to carry. It's a... Yeah.
Might have to be the position 1 after how the TA's lane has gone.
Oh, no. How much more net worth does he have? See, Coddle's got more net worth.
Still below Coddle, yeah.
And you'd love to get this kill on Rapido again. As Lim rotating bottom, so UK's already level 4 as well. This is very scary for UDV to play into. Lucifer might be forced to block the roll, but they're going to rely on the Avalanche to try and set up here. Lim's on the mark. But they do not have detection.
They're also preventing the Sand King from getting any last hits. Just look at the net worth. All 3 lanes, even with that kill onto the Kunkka, going incredibly well for the Patriots right now.
A rolling stone.
So it turns out you just pick these 5 heroes and you win the lanes and probably the game. Very simple.
Yeah. So they're going to pick the same 5 heroes next game?
If they can. I'm sure that, like, if you don't have first pick, you got to ban Death Prophet, man. Just, I know it slipped through the last phase in the last draft, but it shouldn't have. So you gotta pick it. It's so versatile. It's so good.
I agree, but I also don't think the Death Prophet is the main reason why they're going to be put in this scenario. I think they
Who got first blood?
right. Okay, so the first blood is what wins them this game. That's what we were looking for. If UDV get first blood, then maybe JG snowballs and all of a sudden you got an out of control Storm Spirit.
Playing the lane probably as well as he could against this. I mean, they had a few attempts to try and block up that small camp, but it's been removed. And Mamang Dai, he's always going to be able to get the better end of a lot of these trades. That's a pretty big contribution coming through there from Lim. You don't need the Arcane Rune on Mamang Dai. Much more important to deny it away from the Storm Spirit, who's starting to take a few of these stacks, but it is not going to be that, 8-9 minute Blink Dagger, that's for sure, that Rapido's getting. He's barely got, what's coming out to him now, some Tranquil Boots. Only starting to go into the Blink Dagger now, so it's probably looking more like 12 minutes.
I do like that at least he's soaking up mid, because I think the higher points in Inkswell is going to be a big help for them to find these early kills when JG starts to get active. So at least he's trying to soak some experience while JG was taking the stacks, but I'd like Tiki now just to go top and kind of soak the dead lane, maybe chuck out some Stroke of Fate, slowly stop the siege that's eventually going to come out for Patriots.
Really, they're just looking to bunch up together here on JG and Teehee to help out Ken a little bit. Just give him a bottle sip or something. But, yeah, what can you really do? Like, this is a lineup that wants to be farming a fair amount. Lucifer, I thought he was getting ganked, but it was just the ancient stack that almost killed him.
How many stacks they got there? Alright, you might see Epi use, honestly, to take that with how bad of a game Rapido's had.
Here we go, Lucifer looking to set up on the top side. Delor certainly can die.
That he can. Even bottom lane, though. Rapido's getting chased under the tower, but Mamang Dai just a bit too slow to close the distance. They're going to try and invade and take away any stacks, and although they will get a juicy one at the hard. Oh, he's even boat? Okay.
Why not? Don't let TA come back.
You are almost going to give a free kill over to Ken. Okay, he's
well,
just going to go for the TP out. The blast, the damage! Not enough from afar, so nice read. Just TP.
Definition of letting the TA come back if you just gave that one up for
Mid
free.
lane,
But
Mamang Dai are. I don't know if they have the damage to go through the Conqueror, though. He's not playing with the run buff. Storm Spirit's magical damage is not, as there we go. Mamang Dai. X back, Lim, so as the roll on cooldown, so there will not be enough catch to keep JG locked in.
Would the Fairy Fire in the inventory have been the difference, Mamang Dai? We'll never know, but got away on pretty low HP there on JG's side. And the UDV, the fact that they've been able to avoid giving up a few more of those kills based on how the laning stage went is a big win for them. Again, the main person suffering from all of this is Rapido. He's just looking to try and sit inside the Sandstorm, play that dead lane a little bit more, although the tower hasn't gone, so can't really classify it as that just yet. But he's been missing a lot of last hits overall, and he is suffering. Again, Coddle has more net worth at this stage. What do you even buy? I guess you get a 4-staff on Lucifer. Very important to break the static link for your TA, break the Spirit Siphon, prevent Kunkka X-Mark combos.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, he's going for it.
Okay. Like you said, was getting a decent amount of farm, so we'll just see how that's able to translate into helping keep his cause alive. But
Dire's top tower is
it's
under attack.
very much just catch-up game for UDV, but I feel like for Patriots, they're getting closer and closer to taking fights as mid lane. Ken gonna eat the boat, although Mamang Dai didn't have any extra follow-up, so Ken will be okay. Just shrugs off the combo.
Honestly, does feel like Mamang Dai, sorry, not Mamang Dai, Lucifer needs to be the one that carries them through this first, I'd say the next 5-10 minutes. If he's able to get that 4-staff, it means that he can break all those combos, like I was saying. Also, just his general positioning with the Spirit Form is going to be really impactful as poor Rapido goes down another time. And a little bit optimistic there, coming through from the Kunkka. He's already used his X-Marks.
TPs are starting to rein in, but they won't be fast enough as now JG eyeing up Dalul. The Razor's going to give away another kill. So beautifully played from UDV with the Arcane on JG to enable him. And Tihi's 3 points in Ink Spot. That is enough of the magical burst.
Said in the draft, like, if you get these pickoffs, what is it actually going to result in? But if you take it at this perfect time around the siege creep, you've got that hitting. Ken's here as well. He obviously wants to be farming, but taking a tier 1 mid tower is very important for UDV's lineup. So, bit of a blunder coming through from the Apes there. Sorry, Patriots, my bad.
It's a perfect time, honestly, for them to make that play, because they don't have ways to take objectives, and so for them trying to do that with the catapult still standing is big, because now you got a tier 1 tower. Now it makes it a little bit more difficult for Radiant to play aggressive, which is then just more space for TA to find catch-up, which, you know, you are doing decent on Ken. Is now overtaken overtaken Dalul in regards to net worth.
Okay. He's starting to find his way to come back. The last hit on the tower, certainly very effective towards that. But yeah, what I was saying before about the Keeper of the Light, of course, those kills certainly change the complexion of this game. But even just having the Spirit Form, right? Everything that they've got is very, like...
Well, top lane, Rapido's going to be in trouble. Dalul with the dust and not easily soaking away the health pool. He's actually going to bring more numbers in to defend top. Gotta be careful. Dalul still sticking around. JG's gonna be off the mark with the initial roll. Now doesn't have too much mana to play with, but that's where Lucify, where he can provide his own assistance, just refreshing the mana pool. So JJ's out. Now Tiki moving on over, leashing the supports together, but they actually want to get aggressive for the Magnetize. Not enough, and they haven't dealt with Lucify. So all the blast damage, they haven't been able to respect that. Dickroy, a deep attempt at blocking out the avenue to the north. Rapido's back in, but the epicenter will do nothing as Jikroy, he's incredibly beefy. Look at all the health that he's able to play with, but JG wants revenge, and Ken even gets involved as well as UDV. Somehow they are edging out victories.
Probably fighting underneath the tier 1 tower without the strongest hero in the game, and the Kunkka goes a bit of a way towards that. He'll take the mid tier 1 tower in exchange, but you have to think, if this is the general game plan for Patriots, just run at them, Among Dire's got to be part of that. They're even going to try and go in onto him again, underneath the trap. He gets stunned. At least he'll get the boat off for himself, but enable him to survive, I suppose. As they're going to go for another kill here onto Tihi. Just want to convert and commit, though.
I wonder if they can heal up on UDV, then go for a play knowing boat's on cooldown, because Mamang Dai definitely will be vulnerable now.
Same before, like game number 1, it didn't feel like they made any huge mistakes on Patriots. It was just the draft, the weight of the UDV draft that did them in. This time around, there's a fair few mistakes happening. You know, just kills that probably don't need to happen, diving into towers, missing some skill shots. Odd decisions, that's for sure, especially when you've got great push in the method of the exorcism plus a tiny.
Yeah, and kind of the conversion rate from them on these plays is costing them. We see Templar Assassin top of the net worth, just the mistakes are really costing them, as you have Dragonlance Blink, and Ken's gonna probably take the tier 1 tower bottom without Radiant contesting.
I mean, especially with Mamang Daya showing up here on this top side, he TP'd there. So they know he's not going to be able to help on the bottom side. Also gives space for Sand King to finally hit that Blink Dagger timing. It's not even the 12 minutes that I was saying, it's 14 and a half. But it's something. You can now look to play a little bit more aggressive, especially considering you've taken away mid tier 1 as well as bot. So a lot more farm for these greedier heroes that didn't have the greatest laning stage to be able to steal away some farm.
Because the one person that has also gone untouched is Jikro on the Tiny. He Echo Saber into the Shadow Blade build. He's going to have the Shadow Blade at a pretty good timing, and will opt for the Aghanim Shard, I imagine, afterwards.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Kind of surprising that he has this good of a net worth.
Well, they want to jump. Rapido with the Blink reveal, and now there's plenty of magical damage to go through the strength of the Tiny. As Mamang Dai a bit too late to offer up some assistance, as that was a That's a perfect reveal you're hoping for. Just take away the life of Jikru. I think you were just starting to mention you were surprised at how good of a game he's had. And, well, Rapido's back in. They sense a sign of weakness from among Dice. Steps over the line, but a BKB boat will keep the Conker healthy. It's going to miss the combo, but it will not matter as Rapido doesn't have a way to get out of the area.
Radiant structures
At least the Tiny bought out previously, so he didn't lose a ton of gold from that death. Still having the Shadow Blade available for himself, but you don't want to be dying 3 times in the first 15 minutes on a core Tiny. You know, you had the better draft. Point blank, cut and dry.
Is under attack.
Look at Ken, though. He's putting so much pressure onto the map. This is how you need to play, especially against these lineups that love to ball up and group together. Anytime there's like a mass TP reveal or a full 5-on-5 fight, and you feel like you're not ready to push just yet, especially with this Blightstone, just put pressure on. Force them to have to take a trade. And that bottom tier 2 tower already less than half HP. Look at all these psionic traps as well. Being able to provide so much vision.
Oh no, they don't have Jikro. They need their Tiny. Rapido, an aggressive blink onto Delula. Double man, Burrow strike. Is it gonna try and target down the Razor? This will give a decent fight if Ken wants to show up. He's starting to trail towards the area, but it looks like the Templar Assassin will get involved with the later stages. A dominating streak, and they're not done. Rapido finds a conquer at the front of the tier 2 tower, and even Lim is in the neighborhood. A roll to the higher gun, but Dire, they've got the detection, they have the vision. So all eyes on the Earth Spirit that was looking to escape to the northern side of the map.
Just so many uses of the chakra magic, right, onto the Storm Spirit. I believe I counted 3. It only says 2 in the... Nah, but it didn't count that one that happened at the very start of the initiation, so there's another one coming through there. It's just
Rapido. Let's see if Jikro has the damage. Tiki is nearby. A long zip. JJ doesn't get the damage from this, but he's still got half Menable to play with, and yes, it's a kill that Tiny's going to get, but it's not worth it. It's just...
And you lose a tier 2 tower.
Oh...
I was about to say, like, even in the middle of that previous team fight, Patriots still had the net worth lead, even though they were hemorrhaging kills. I think it was like 6 kills to 14 at the time. But losing towers, losing your position 1 over and over again, this is not how the draft was meant to go. It's one of those pet peeves, right? Is like they're just keeping the pressure up.
Why not? Oh, UK? Okay, this is XO out. UK's still going to be cautious, though. It looks like he won't even get any value out of the exorcism. Top lane, meanwhile, Delul.
He's going to die.
Kill onto Lucifer, but they're turning it back onto UK's. Rapido stands his ground off the back of the epicenter. Now Ken's in. Oh, Ken is in, and it just seems like Patriots are playing a solo game almost. They just want to try and do it themselves. It's not the 5-on-5. There's no team synergy.
When you've got great team fight, I'm stunned that they're not playing together. You know, this feels like a pub game where someone just doesn't get their lane and say, okay, I'm going to buy Midas, I'm playing solo this game. Because you don't buy a Shadow Blade and then continue to lane and continue to jungle, right? Imagine how different that previous team fight was if Tiny was just a part of it. Instead, he was just farming mid.
They might get Rapido, however. Nice play from Jikro. That was really nice. So a little move to the Sandstorm, and then Jikro kind of moved to the other side, really his escape avenue, anticipating him to blink further into the lane. So at least Patriots get something, and they are going to try and now control Dire's northern side of the jungle, which this... Like, Radiant are set up to take some decent fights up here. They've got some pretty good wards that will expire shortly, and if they win a fight, they could definitely take Roshan.
He knows it's there, though. After he died, Rapido pinged out exactly where that Observer Ward was, near the Tier 2 tower.
BKB just charges down the Grimstroke. Off to the west side, though, the Templar Assassin will even the trade. But can they still continue to take the fight on UDV? Boat's gonna land. The Storm Spirit has the BKB available, but JG will not need it. Meanwhile, Ken, though, oh, he's going closer to Jikro, and there we go. There's a successful team fight. What can they get out of it, though? They need some objectives.
Just play as 5. Not hard. You know, this is exactly what happens when they finally take a complete team fight together. And that pick-off on Rapido was the one that enabled it all, right? That strong counter initiation wasn't a factor. Honestly, kind of want to see the Aghanim Shard come out pretty soon for UK. He's going to Glimmer Cape. Not sure how strongly I feel about it. Maybe just the cloak portion, just for that little bit of magic resist, but I really feel like the fear is going
Mid
to
lane,
be...
Rapido is going to jump. Mamang Daya is in
silence.
trouble. Can he get the BKB off? But look at the damage that Jikroy pummeling into the heroes of UDV as GG has to retreat, but unfortunately he doesn't have that capability, and now they're going to be eyeing up Lucify under the tier 2 tower. Although the goddamn collar is pretty speedy, and now, oh, well, Lim, yeah, nice sidestep, and he's stuck on the tier 3 tower, so JG gets a turnaround. And he's even
I was
going for
talking
UK.
about it before,
Why
right?
not? Yeah, both supports killed off.
Remember in the game 1 draft where I'm like, okay, you see this Keeper of the Light and you can't really pick an Earth Spirit because Coddle's just way too speedy? You saw he like dodged 3 different rolls there just because it's not instant. That's the thing. Like, who do you actually go on to if you're this Earth Spirit? I feel like it has to be the TA, even though, you know, it's going to put you in a really compromising position because, you know, you don't want a TA to be right-clicking you. But you just got to try and eliminate your refraction charges. It feels like that's the main priority for him this game.
It's not like you can go Scepter, so you can just play on the TA, roll in, magnetize Ghost, and then get out. Because then Storm or the Sand King's going to kill you off. So maybe it's the play of tiny blink in, get the combo, then it's an easy way to set up for the roll, and then all of a sudden you're in the middle of the fight, and maybe you can start spellcasting.
Yeah, man, it just feels like this yo-yo as well, right? Like, they go for a dive attempt, it doesn't work out too well, but Patriots still get the better end of it. UDV immediately look to smoke up again, although probably should recognize that they didn't use any ultimates on Patriots during that previous attempt, so they're perfectly capable of just turning this fight back around. It's going to be a 5-on-4 as well.
Smoke's gonna pop. Jikroy leading the charge straight to the Sand King as Rapido will be killed off with ease, and UDV need to evacuate. The Lucify, unfortunately, is going to run straight into Delul. And this should be Roshan and even Tiki to add to the list. That is a ambitious TP out, and it will be cancelled instantly.
Ken saying, I'll take it. He's continued to farm on the bottom side. Had the TP available, but realizes how important it is
Top
for him
lane,
to have his own
JG's
TP.
trying to solo kill Delul, but a bit hesitant to continue the chase. That ward on the cliffside, seeing Lim starting to move over.
Yeah, I don't think it was really Delul looking to try and get a kill on the Storm Spirit. It's just, we got to try and prevent any kind of zipping shenanigans going on. You can see they're just using the torrent every time that they get the opportunity to. But now that the TA has her BKB, she feels very confident in being able to go in. And JG, you going to go for a play here? Not quite. Yeah, level 20. So Meld Dispels. Very nice against the things like the ticking damage over time from the urn, from a lot of different Earth Spirit spells. So you don't necessarily need to pop the BKB super early, but you've got the option.
I went actually the... Oh, mid lane. Okay, should be alright.
What? Sand King go. Oh, he went the shard instead. I was like, I swear, he's been dying a lot, but I swear he had more net worth than this.
Oh, he has been dying a lot, right? 9 deaths on Rapido. He's lower net worth than Lucify.
Smoke up. Luckily enough, it's not underneath an Observer Ward. One in next to the tier 2, running a ton of value.
Dude,
for them.
Jikroy is so split from the team. They can definitely kill him twice. Or it might just BKB TP out on the second time. They're going to be perfect on their stuns. But the Radiant, they're smoking to get to the area. Jikroy's going to stand his ground with the BKB. Ken's, he's more than happy to duel, but they need to break the static link. Ken's actually going to try and TP out. Do they have the damage to go through? Ken just makes it away, but JG's in trouble. The BKB long zip. Now Rapido feels like it's a free fight to jump in, but there will be no follow-up as Rapido. Yes, you get the kill on Delul, but you put your body on the line. Maybe you're okay with it. Like, the Sand King's pretty much a position for this game.
Okay with it. I mean, anytime that you're fighting next to a tier 2 tower as a Storm Spirit, right, it just gives you so much potential for that zip in, especially now that you don't need to consider the Aegis on the Tiny. He has hit up onto that level 20, though. The status resistance is going to be very important against the multitude of stuns that they have, even just the blinding light coming through from the Keeper.
I'm trying to see how they can enable Ken in these fights. Because You mentioned about the force off on Coddle. Oh, long zip in. JG again. Forcing reactions in and out they go. Very interesting. Maybe Jikoru's got BKB, so they got to be cautious now going on the tiny. But yeah, I think they need to try and find a better way to enable Ken in these fights. So maybe targeting Delul, or Grimstroke might consider like a 4-star after this Aether Lens is now completed, just so you have double force, break the static link, and then Ken can play Dota.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of this Witchblade either that you've got on the Storm Spirit. Like, what's it actually doing? It provides a little bit of armor, pretty decent value from it, I suppose, considering all the physical damage that you're up against. But to me, enabling Ken to actually take an effective team fight, a big part of that
is what's going on right here.
Allowing them to take the tower unopposed.
Oh, they're gonna jump now. JG, early use of the BKB, but Chickroy! Oh, the combo's perfect, but it doesn't do much damage. As Chickroy's still killed off, it's all gonna be on Delul now. They're chasing Ken to the high ground. As the BKB expires, he's still in 190 damage. So Delul's a big problem that they don't have an answer to. As Rapido doesn't get the epi off. A quick use of the silence to prevent that. Now Delul's onto another target. A triple for the position 3. Razor as 4 put in the grave, and UDV don't have the answers.
Immediate dieback from the Sand King as well, so his net worth is just in the bin. Less than half of any of the other cores in the game, so unfortunate game for Rapido. I think the Sand King pick was fine, but it just really hasn't turned out quite as well for them as they would have been expecting. A lot of attention being put onto him. Getting that slower Blink Dagger meant that you haven't really been able to make enough space for this TA. You see what happens, though, when TA is able to freely hit. You know, that Tiny still melted pretty damn quickly.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Like, when will she be able to freely hit in fights? But Hurricane Pike shortly for Ken. We'll definitely start to enable that. So, you'll
likely have a shard soon as well for the Grim. Only 200 gold away, which is nice. Just, you know, you kind of want to be fighting into the middle of 4 heroes, so perfect thing to be able to toss onto either a Sand King or a Storm Spirit. Particularly the Sand King, considering he's got, like, no defensive tools outside of the Blast Rig.
Even though it's a 6,000 net worth lead for Patriots, which we were both bigger fans of their draft overall, do you feel like this is a game where UDV might be a little bit more on top as the game goes later, or should Patriots still be able to slowly close this out?
Very late. I feel like UDV can take it. You know, Keeper of the Light starts to get a little bit more value. Sand King isn't just a position 4 like you were saying. Storm Spirit, he's reached level 20. I feel like the big avenue for them to come back is playing around the next Roche, right? Like, just to be able to give that extra value coming through from the Aghanim Shard. If you can give that to a Storm Spirit, the damage output is so much more. You can see he's looking to go into the Aghanim Scepter next. It really provide that teamfight control to enable your Sand King further.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that I'm looking at UDV's lineup and saying they are probably going to have the advantage at the later stages just because their team fight. Or the AoE Rapido. It's gonna be in some mighty fine trouble.
Ooh, nice
but a nice blink from Rapido. Yeah, I think that's a big thing on Dire. You're gonna have Vortex into Epi, into Inkswell, and maybe White Hole, because Coddle is very farmed, so if Luzify considers that.
He's just bought the Recall Shard, so that's nice at being able to push out the lanes and buybacks and instantly come back into things. But AC, oof. A lot of heroes are going to be melting.
DD on among Dire as well. The 20 talent. They're actually starting to push them back top.
It's just hitting top.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Why not? This tower's about to go down. You need an answer. There's JG in with the
That's
combo, the double burrow. Oh, it's beautiful. The exact answer that you're looking for to defend your high gun and now move for more. They got the ward on the high gun as well, so they have full information of the team fight. But the Templar Assassin, forced to the north. Ken needs another way to destroy the static link, but he's not going to find it as Delul locks onto his target. There's no escape for the Templar Assassin. And Patriots, even though they lost the first hero of the fight, they can still clean up.
Yeah, you've got this position 5 Death Prophet doing so much, right? The Exorcism layering out double damage on Mamang Daya.
Oh, Repeater with the
careful.
FB. Okay, it's a lot of damage, but Storm, what happened? A buyback on JG. This is a heavy commitment. They'll get everyone.
Oh,
I
the heal.
think. No way. The heals means that the Razor
silence,
gets out.
the
UK
silence.
gets out too. Oh,
What a
no.
player.
Tip him. Tip him. Oh, that's prime time tip there.
I mean, that's a nice uke right there, is what that is.
Anything, Danog? Voice lines, tips, come on, he just bought back.
Voice line, have a look.
Oh, did he voice line? Oh, he did
Yeah.
voice line, okay.
He also was like, you know what? I carried that team fight. I'm buying the tome. I want my level 18. I want that extra damage that we need to be able to close out this game because, sorry, Jikro, you're just not doing it for us. Eating away your life, barely getting used to that out of that BKB. And keep in mind, this was with a Titan Sliver and with the level 20 talent, so he has plenty of status resistance, and he's still just got chain lockdown.
I guess the one thing that we kind of didn't mention before about the late game and who's going to be more confident is
Are scanning.
the fact that Delul is looking like a position 1. He's 3rd in net worth, is an answer to the Templar Assassin, which even with these 4 softs haven't been able to deal with, and level 23. So as soon as it's going to have that 25, going to have Hex shortly as well, and Repeater will be nowhere near that. So it's the only way I see Repeater having impact is Storm to start, drag them closer for a multi-man burrow or big epi, but if you don't execute like that, then like it's just a
That's what we
one
just
hit
saw, right?
punch.
With the Soulbind as well. Like, the double Burrow Strike was a big
true.
reason as to why they just won that team fight. No, not won that team fight, but at least didn't lose the game.
It feels like the Sand King's a bit more of a one-hit punch. Like you have to get that combo, but the Razor's not. Like he's got plenty of items to play with and can also directly counter the TA.
So you're saying Rapido's real name is Saitama? That's a weeb thing.
I understand that's a weeb thing. That's why I was just nodding my head trying
Radiant's
to
bottom
think of
tower
a...
is under attack.
Well, you know
is-
the way that casting works is that I can't actually see you, so I don't know you're nodding your head.
Yeah, I know. I understand that, but I'm just, like... I'm nodding my head like, yeah, I'm not a weeb. I'm just gonna nod my head for the moment. Keep trying to... nodding my head gives me power. It moves my brain along, and then it can give me something to say, and now I've come up with... so he's like Naruto, is he? Very cool.
Oh. He's like Ash Ketchum, right?
Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon.
I doubt you could name even 5
5 what? Pokemons? You got
Pokemons.
Pokemons. You got
Plural.
Pikachu. You got
I
Bulbasaur.
hate Zoomers so much.
You have Squirtle. You have Blastoise, and you have Digmeton.
You're struggling.
I may wanna. No, if you gave me like 5 more seconds.
The fact that you need those 5 seconds is just a travesty.
Travesty. Charmander.
Anyway, we've got a game of Dota going
There you
on.
go.
There we go.
I said all the 3 basic ones in the revolutions.
And Pikachu. Yeah.
All right,
All
we
right.
can
How do they come back into this on UDV? Because honestly, it was a huge blow that JG died in that previous team fight and had to expend the buyback.
Oh,
I didn't even realize that was his first death the entire game. It doesn't
Oh.
feel like that.
Oh, they have a DD for Roche. They gotta be careful if they group up! Oh, the BKBs, they're gonna be fast enough, but is the
Didn't have
damage
me.
already dealt? Duel's gonna continue chasing Ken to the northern side. They go as Ken, he doesn't have a fight once
Bye-bye.
again. Delul, he's putting in so much work on the Razor. It'll cost him his life, but the damage, it's well and truly been dealt. 4 killed off on the side of UDV. They'll soon make it a wipe as Ken put in the grave. The wipe is there. The age is given over. The shard as well as Patriots stand their ground even into all the AoE combos.
And that's the difference, right? Like, if the Sand King isn't put into the bin at the very start of all of that, you saw him. He got a great initiation through. He's going to use his buyback again, so it doesn't mean great things for his net worth still. And you're still going to have that backdoor protection available with the top wave pushed on in. But if he has a BKB that fight instead, that is completely different because the Titan Sliver, the status resistance from the Tiny, meant that he was able to
Dire's middle tower
shrug
has
off the
fallen.
stun coming through from the Sand King, get that avalanche off, and it means that he doesn't die at the very start of all of that.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Yeah,
They
why
can just
not?
end. They know there's no buyback on Storm. They're going to test if it's available on the TA, but
Dire's middle tower.
Oh,
oh,
nice
Danog,
roll from
they
Lim.
found him again.
On point on the counter initiators, Rapido.
Dire's middle tower
It's just
has
space, though.
fallen.
It's space for this Tiny. He's whacking away at that. Just popping the Satanic to get back to full HP on Jikroy.
You're gonna have to make a play.
Dire's
Thrown to
middle
expose.
tower has
The
fallen.
Hail Mary from Rapido, but they're too takey, and we're going to a game 3. An elimination series. It's all on the line for these teams to try and book their ticket into phase 2. But we have at least another series to break the curse of the 2-0s.
Yeah, it was messy though. Like things could have gone very differently. I think that it was a incredibly strong draft for the Patriots, but there were still a few blunders that came through. The big plus though was how much they targeted this greedy triple core lineup that they had on the UDV side, right? Even like there was no Pugner. Sure, there was a Keeper of the Light that was able to enable JG a little bit, but just a couple of times the key hero dies before able to get off his full complement of spells, and even though it was a 7-kill difference at the end of the day, it just felt like so much more tower pushing potential, so much lockdown, so much stun, so much harder to kill, and 15 deaths on an offlane Sand King is not what you want to see.
No, definitely not at all. Unfortunately, Rapido, at least game 3 gives him an opportunity to make amends and maybe be the one that can send them into phase 2, or maybe you'd just be hoping you could do it in the second game, but unfortunately that is not the case. As Patriots show, like we said, you get your points as well. We were both kind of giving them a bit of an edge in the draft. The execution from both sides was a bit of a concern, but we'll see if in the break they can start to clean some of that up and set themselves with a beautiful game 3 draft, but we will find out after the break.